Today we're going to be talking about the starter Pokemon featured in the Galar region from Pokemon Sword and Shield for Generation 8. This is a theory video about what their secondary types could be, so let's get started. Grookey, the first of the trio. Grookey has a twig between the two leaves on its head. It's a very solid looking Pokemon. We see it running around, and we also see it regrowing grass. Now, while it's very possible it could remain a monotype, because, well, why not? If it was just a stick that it's carrying around, a stick is wood, and that's the grass type. And, you know, the fact that it regrows grass as one of its abilities, as we've seen in the trailer, it could remain a mono grass type, or it could be a fairy type. Yes, it could very well be a fairy type because it's got a oneness with nature, and we have seen that fairy types are closely associated with grass types, though they're not really one and the same, but we have seen very many fairy type Pokemon be associated with a plant. But also, I could maybe see it being a poison type. Here's why. Just on this alone, it very much reminds me of an Emerald Congalala from the Monster Hunter franchise. An Emerald Congalala can eat various mushrooms and then create gases from its body that could stun you, which would be paralysis in the Pokemon world, put you to sleep. It could even maybe cause a burn. It could possibly poison depending on the mushroom that it had eaten, and I think that would be a really neat ability. And we do have an attack, Nature's Gift, which does something similar with berries, so maybe Nature's Gift is in Grookey's repertoire if it becomes something akin to an Emerald Congalala. I also think ground or rock would be a viable option for a secondary type. Ground because, again, it has like a oneness with nature, and grass obviously grows from the ground. But then rock too, because we see it pounding the rock in order to generate like the grass to regrow. Like, why did it need to hit the rock with its stick to make sure that the grass regrew? But then finally, just going off the Girder line and how it evolves into Timber, and or is it Timber, then Girder, then Conkeldurr? Maybe it's a steel type. It could very well be a grass steel type because maybe it trades up that wooden stick, that little twig, for an actual metal weapon that it uses to battle with. Next we have Scorbunny. Scorbunny was seen running all over the place and it was causing fire with its feet. I think that's very interesting just because it's using fire to propel itself, it seems. It seems like its speed is coming from its flames. While Scorbunny could remain a mono fire type, which I very much doubt just because it has such potential for a secondary typing, you know, I don't want to say fighting as a secondary type. We've seen that so much, and the past two gens, they've gotten away from that, so I don't think they're going to come back to it anytime soon, especially with the amount of negative backlash from the fandom. So I have to believe that it's secondary type. Okay, hear me out on this. Rabbits do eat a significant amount of grass. A grass fire type would be very interesting, and I just think that it's one, like, it'd be running around the fields. I see it in forests. You know, grass is associated with rabbits and bunnies, so why couldn't we have a fire grass type? Also, I can see it being a ground type. Rabbits are very well known for digging their burrows, and I can see Scorbunny maybe gaining that type, and also being a ground type. You know, fire and ground together is kind of like a lava thing. So, and while lava could be molten rock, I think Scorbunny could benefit from being a ground type, and if they're having the theme that it's like the most athletic one, you know, athletes slide across the ground. But then I think flying might be a cool secondary type as well. Flying would be a very cool secondary type, just on the merit that it could use the flames from its feet as jet propulsion, and it could become a flying Pokemon, but it flies instead of flapping its wings, it uses jet propulsion. While we have seen this with Galar, and Galar isn't necessarily a flying type, still, I do think it's potentially possible that we could see a flying type Pokemon flying with jet propulsion. Rock or Steel, just because as it's training its body to be, like, stronger for battle, maybe its body gets harder and becomes more like steel or rock, and making it more athletic. Fairy and Psychic could also be an interesting pick, just because of pyrokinesis. Fairy because it'd be more magical, and Psychic because, well, it's, as I said, pyrokinesis, and that's how it's manipulating the different flames that come out of its body in different areas, because it has control over fire itself. Though I don't think they'll go with Psychic just because of Delphox, but it's still very possible. And finally, we see Scorbunny running around quite energetically, and I really think an electric fire type would be awesome. Like, this Pokemon would just be so insanely fast with the electric type, and then have the hard-hitting moves of being a fire type. Put them together, and you have a very explosively fast, very hard-hitting Pokemon. Finally, we have Sobble. Sobble is the most interesting member of the party because it is the withdrawn member of the team. It hides underwater, it can camouflage itself, so it's got a chameleon-like ability. I almost wonder if its hidden ability will be color change or Protean. But, all that aside, I think as a secondary type we can see it being dark, just because it becomes more cunning. I can see it as it's hiding underwater, learning how to stalk its prey, learning how to attack from a distance. You know, this thing may or may not be a vegetarian, we don't know, but maybe it eats on bugs. We know that it lives underwater, but we also saw it climbing a tree. So how does this Pokemon survive if it's always hiding? And I think it gets more clever as being a hider, so that's what allows it to become the dark type, especially with that invisibility factor. But then again, you can also see it becoming the Psychic type for similar reasons. However, with the Psychic type though, I think it'd be more that it's always withdrawn. It's always hiding, it's training its mind, it's always thinking. That constant thought of how it can hide itself, that constant thought of how can I, stealthily do whatever I need to do, would evolve its mind, grow it, and develop psychic powers. Fairy, just because of the visibility factor, and also it's kind of a magic thing, but that's very, very loose. And because it's a lizard, because it's a reptilian of some sort, just because, wouldn't it be cool if it was a dragon type? Yes, meek little Sobble could become a dragon type. As it evolves and its body grows bigger, as it evolves, it gets a little more, shall we say, aggressive because it gets new strength. Why not have it become a dragon? Maybe it just has dragonic qualities, because not every dragon-type Pokemon is known to be very aggressive. If you look at Flygon and Altaria, they're very gentle Pokemon, seemingly. And, I think, because Newts, which Eye of Newt, that's from witches, and I believe that is a European thing, but Newts, chameleons, salamanders, these are all things that would exist within this realm, I would imagine. So why not? Why can't Sobble be part dragon? Why couldn't it, as it grows and evolves, it becomes a dragon type, and it gains greater power, because it would just be awesome. There, I said it. It would just be awesome. Alright, so that's what I got for all the secondary types of the starter Pokemon from the Galar region. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Tell me which of the three is your favorite starter so far. And make sure to give this video a like, do subscribe, make sure to hit those links to follow me on social media, and make sure to check out my other videos in the right hand column.